Hello. So I fired the stream up. I was telling myself I have to do it. I have to get in there and do it consistently. I wasn't really in it today, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I got a somewhat of a plan. I hope I'm not gonna get off into the weeds trying to get this code working. I got to debug through the mouse issue that I was having earlier from yesterday. But I'm gonna let everybody know that I'm coming online and. Yeah, let's see here. I was thinking about a way that I might get the chat on the stream as well. That's kind of like not obtrusive. And let me do this real quick. So we will load up. I don't know if I can do that easily. I'm gonna send some messages out on the socials, get some people. This is Friday night, and I live on a busy intersection. Forgive me for the ridiculous highway noise. Okay. So, all right. So, I will do a real quick recap. So, what I've been doing at the beginning of every stream. So, a couple months back, I'd heard of this thing that was just happening, this phenomenon, a YouTube phenomenon called VTubers. Oh, I don't have the app running right now, do I? Yeah, I do. Right here. And the VTubers are this. It's this parametric animation studio, and I thought, well, this is really interesting, from just the math and the 2D art aspect of it. So you get this parametric character, and you can let's see, is it this one? You can modify these parameters, and it just changes the perspective of the character. So I thought that was interesting, and so I've been working on a tool. This is a web-based tool that I can design and build out these characters. I have there's a couple different ones. I have free ones that I downloaded. This is the one that I've got loaded. The assets are loaded here. And yeah, so that's kind of what we're doing. For some reason, when I was working on it yesterday, changing some of the ways the reducers worked, I have my reducers get dispatched based on edit mode to various. It's not just a singular reducer. It might be that It could be that I'm following the wrong pattern. There might be better patterns to this. It could be that I should have split the data up into multiple reducers. But it looks like I'm not entirely sure what the right answer is. But at the moment, I'm going to struggle through it and see if I can discover what the right pattern is. I'm having a hard time finding any reference to tell me that I'm just wrong, because that would be really great if I knew I was blatantly wrong. So that's one of the things. So one of the things that broke is that you'll notice when I move the mouse, my mouse position is not being updated over here. So that's a problem. I noticed something else that kind of bugs me, but it's like way on the bottom of my list. When the browser gets resized, the tiling background ends up producing this little like phantom vertical lines. It really isn't. There isn't actually a line there. It's just that the two gray squares tend to overlap. But it's fine. You know, it's not one of those things I'm going to worry about this, you know, right away. And yeah, so that's kind of the general gist of where I'm at. So I'm trying to figure out how to get this reducer to work, because it obviously is not. So one of the things the reducer is supposed to do is on mouse down, when I click, it adds a triangular mesh, the simple one. So I want to build a different mesh editor. I built one yesterday that allows you to do these outlines where you click a line, it splits the line, and then you get another, you know, another UV outline of it. I want to get one that allows me to work on this tri-mesh. So the tri-mesh is what we're working on, but I got to fix this reducer because I did something here that's not updating the mouse position when I'm moving around this scene. Nope, got a couple extra people on stream. Thanks for joining. I hope you hang out. I hope you enjoy what we're working on. This 2D animation studio I'm trying to build in the browser. I originally just started out trying to learn how the math and the systems kind of glue together. I thought they were interesting. It's a parametric system, so you can define a warping of the mesh that is the character, and this pile of parts actually is a character. This is the app I'm building, and this is the sort of where, like, what it's supposed to look like in a commercial product here. So right now, I'm going to go look at this reducer I've been working on that broke last night during a refactor, and I just got to figure out what I did there. And before anyone says it, yes, TDD probably would have been the better way to handle this, but I'm so deep in this now, I'm kind of like, do I spend the next 3 days off air? I might do it over the weekend where I write some tests and verify and vet some things. That's actually probably not a bad idea. All right, so what's happening in this system, when the mouse moves, I dispatch a message to the art mesh reducer to do mouse move. And so we're going to go ahead and put a breakpoint right here. I need to get Chrome and VS Code working. Oh, that's not what I want. I'll move you over there for now. I need to get Chrome and VS Code working together at some point. So let's figure out what's going on here if I debug through this. So obviously it says, hey, you know, if there's a mouse move, mouse down or mouse up in this location. It then goes through this dispatch mouse action reducer, and so I actually do I disconnect, or I disassociate, I guess the right word, the mouse events into one type of dispatched handler, and then all the other events that may be that might need to get dispatched differently. I do that. So if there's like a specific editor mode for one of these edits or something like that, then I do that. The reason is because the on mouse move or on mouse down or on mouse up actually get handled slightly differently depending on the editor mode. So let's go through this. We'll step into... Oh, I stepped over because I'm an idiot. Well, let's see what happens. Is there a mouse pause? It says there is an actual mouse position. So it says mouse pause is 0, 0. Let's go ahead and run that. And I'll move my mouse over here, which it should break again. In my action, let's verify that my payload mouse pause is 898, so that's got something there. And let's just go ahead and step over some things again. Let's just kind of see what the output is here. So this state should have a mouse position. Whoop, this here, this S. And so the mouse pause does look like it's updated. We get it right here, 898. And then we return S. So what might be happening is that React is choosing to not update. Oh? Is it just me, or did that just get called twice or something weird? Can I see that? That local just disappeared, didn't it? It did. Right, because it's about to return. I guess it's out of scope. Okay, I got the mouse move event trapped. Bug over it. Let's skip over that. Run it. And it was just one event. It looked for a second that it might have emitted 2 events in a row. Yeah, it is just triggering on one mouse move event. Okay, so for some reason, even though the state updates here and I return it from this reducer, it's not. Okay, so I'm getting mouse pause is set to whatever came in from the payload, but it's not redrawing the actual. So I don't understand why that would be the case, but let's come in here and look. So I have this redrawn here, and I'm not sure what would cause this to break. I don't need these anymore. This just needs to be set. This is a symptom of what I was doing, some work I was doing on the drag drop. I'm starting to make. Since I have 2 sort of systems, I have the mouse moving around in a screen, and I have all of the relationships of the mouse to the other elements on the screen as mathematical relationships, so I know where I'm nearest to, what I'm, if I'm around like a bounding area of a circle or something like that. But I'm also not relying on the click events from the SVG layer, because I have to have. In order to get this to eventually animate correctly, I'm going to need like 3 or 4 layers of stuff here. One of them will be the WebGL layer, which will render the actual textures out. And since I'm going to rely so much on math to get a lot of these pieces to glue together anyway, I've just decided that at least for this portion of the editor, I'm going to see what it costs me to try to build it in such a way that it only works with the actual like click interface. Well, sorry, with the all of the mouse interactions happening in state. So every time I do a dispatched into state, the mouse, so the relative mouse position, or sorry, the absolute mouse position upon the artwork layer is what gets translated and dispatched directly to the state system. So the reducer gets this. I don't know why I can dispatch but get nothing back. That's really confusing to me. The state has obviously changed. React reducer state changes but does not update. I don't know. We'll see what happens. This is Redux. Now, I definitely know that I'm... Okay, so I definitely... We can verify that assumption, that it could be a reference issue. So what that would imply is that this state reference is not getting updated upon the return. But if we go look at my ArtMesh reducer, the very first thing that this dispatch mouse action reducer does is it creates a new, let's see, a new result. This editor mode edit triangle just returns back state. That's okay. And if it does, if this result comes back, that's not what I want here. That's actually not what I want. I want to do this. I want to say this is my new result, actually. So the reason I want to do it this way is I want to take whatever this reducer is supposed to be ambivalent. It's supposed to exist and work like any other reducer, right? Like this one shouldn't have any sort of encapsulated knowledge. And so in a reducer, it's standard to just return the state as is with no changes. The this one and the editor mode add triangle reducer, what it looks like is happening, I get it. I know what's happening. I'm actually modifying, because I wasn't cloning down here, I was modifying the state reference. And so because I was returning that modified state reference, I didn't actually update anything on the state. And the reason I wasn't updating was because this was not a mouse move event. What I probably want to do is, this is sort of inefficient here, and I don't like that it's always, so on any mouse event, it will always clone the state and modify it so that in theory there is a guaranteed state difference in reference. But this might fix the mouse issue. Let's see if that fixes it. I gotta refresh. I gotta get rid of debugger. That's in the reducer. We'll drop that down. And now you can see that my mouse cursor is being updated, which now means that when I drop triangles onto the scene, I can mouse over them. And because I'm mousing around and the mouse events are going through the reducer, the reducer makes the decision to highlight a triangle that I've dropped. And if I click it, it'll change to that one being selected. If I click a different one, it should be able to handle switching. This worked before, so let me go and figure out why this is not working. So one thing to note is that this has changed editor mode. There's a system in the way the state's being modified, or sort of a standard I'm working on, that there'll be these micro states where you transition from certain little editor modes, and they'll be subtle. They're not something that the user clicks on or changes. It's right now it's all kind of manually. I'm just kind of hacking it through to kind of understand the pattern. But when the mouse moves around, right now it is in edit triangle mesh mode. I don't remember what it's called. I should show that up on the screen somewhere. That right up here, and this would be a nice place to put that. So you can kind of see it moving in and out of the mode. That'll be here. And I can we'll just do a div around this button. And then a div around this here. I don't know why that was there. Okay. Why is it being rude? Oh, because I'm being silly. This was poly shape, which actually doesn't do anything right now, but I'm just going to leave the button there for reasons. All right, so this will be state.editor mode, and I'll just say editor mode, like that. So you can see when I refresh, I'm in add triangle mode. So I add a triangle, I can add a triangle like this. And then I can click it to edit triangle mode. And I can click this, and that should allow me to click that. So now I got to figure out what's going on in my mouse down. So in my art mesh reducer, in editor mode, edit triangle reducer, there's a mouse down. And so when I get this mouse down event, I say, hey, if the highlighted triangle shape, which is determined in the mouse move portion of the reducer, if the editor triangle has a shape, has a highlighted shape, and that means that you are actually inside the boundary of that triangle shape. Right now, that's sort of a half-truth. It actually means you're within the bounding box of the triangle, and eventually I'll make it so that it actually only highlights it if you're inside of a triangle on the triangular mesh. In that way, it'll only allow it'll only highlight when you are ready to highlight it, sort of thing. So this sets the editor mode, and then it sets the editor tri shape to this, and I think this should right? We could just do another debugger here. So if I click it, it's editing. If I click another, I can't add any more triangles. Let's refresh. Let's add 3 triangles. I'm editing one. I click this one. The debugger didn't happen. So that's telling me that it might not be getting dispatched correctly. That's plausible. So in editor mode, edit triangle, switch action type. So this is edit triangle. We are currently in the edit triangle mode over here. And I just simply return back the state that this editor mode for editing the triangle is. And let's see. So it's not getting dispatched here. It could be... let's see. So this is editor mode, edit triangle, mouse reducer. Oh. Edit. Okay, this is what happened. These reducers got refactored into multiple reducers, because I think what's going to happen is... what's happened is I've merged these. I've realized that there's probably not a whole lot of dispatcher. Like, I have this thing originally dispatching to various other types of reducers down here, this dispatch action reducer, but I don't think dispatch action reducer is actually important. I think this may get factored out. I might, basically, it's like balancing the equation across the, the equal sign. Like, certain things sort of fall off the graph tree as you start to recognize where the flaws are in your logic. The big one is the mouse events are pretty much the only events that are triggers from state or from events in the subsystem right now, and they kind of make sense because they do a lot of work, and so almost all of the events are going to come through here. Like, there's no reason why it matters if I am allowed to move a shape vertex or not, or highlight the shape line in any other edit mode. I don't want to block those things that I know of, at least at the moment. So it's looking like this may just be what's going on. So yeah, so I'm in edit triangle mode, mouse reducer. This reducer no longer matters. The edit editor mode, edit triangle reducer, and edit mode, add triangle reducer. Since these all now are part of the mouse subsystem, so I'm going to leave them. I kind of want to delete them, but I'm going to leave them for the moment, and then we're going to come back over here. So we're going to add a couple of triangles. I'm going to select a triangle, and then I should be able to select another triangle if I wasn't in debugger mode. So we'll add a couple of triangles, add, select one, change the one I'm selected, perfect. So once I've selected one, I'm currently in edit mode for that particular triangle. And edit mode is supposed to allow me to drag individual vertices around. I should be able to, in edit mode, split a triangle by clicking exactly on a line segment. That should allow you to split. In a triangle mesh, I do maintain triangle lists. Okay. So in the triangle mesh, I maintain a list of individual triangles and the individual vertices that make up those triangles. So the idea is that if I come over here and click this line, what I'm actually doing is I'm adding a new vertex to the array of vertexes, and then I'm splitting this line. I'm keeping my loops in clockwise order, so this is A, B, C. I don't actually know that that's A, B, C exactly. I'll have to make sure I know which one's which. As a matter of fact, let's go to the Art Mesh editor. And on the triangle shape, let's see where it's at. I want to go to the mesh editor. Is there an outline here? Oh, right, it's down here. That's right. So I have a couple of things in here. I have the Art Mesh editor, art shape, and then an art shape editor. And then an art tri-shape editor is what I'm looking for. So I kind of stuffed a lot of stuff in here, just sort of figuring out how this is all going to fit together anyway. I want to colorize these individual. So right now the verts are all blue. So that's this right here. I kind of want to colorize them. I think it would look better to just have them colorized. I wonder why I decided to iterate over these instead of just drawing them outright when I did it last night. But that's okay. Let's do this. Blue, we'll say green, and then violet. And this is just p1.x, p2.x, p3.x. And this is p1.x, p2.x, p3 or .y. And it's mad at me because those are out of scope. That would definitely be the... Oh, right, for this is for each triangle. I remember what was going on. Okay, so the issue here is that each triangle has a... I got a better idea. Let's just put a text over the top of these little circles. Let's return back a group, and this will have transform, and it'll just be translate, and it will be, we're going to make this triangle be at 0, 0, so I'm just going to put cx of 0. I think it defaults to 0. I could leave it blank, but I'll just do that. So I will put v.x, comma, $v.y. And so now this should produce blue circles just like it did before. There should be no difference. Yep. And now what's happening is the blue circles are just translated groups. Yep. And if I come in here, I can also then put text on it, and I can slap the the index on there just to kind of tie it off to something, just to get an idea what the order is for these. So now we can see it's 0, 1, 2. And I need to know this order. I need to know the order to make sure that I split the triangles up correctly. Now, a TDD style way of doing this would be probably not the worst. But now I have a clue as to my triangular order, and they are clockwise. I'm choosing clockwise. It might be that I need to send these things into the graphics library in counterclockwise mode. I don't know that yet. We'll see. All right. So in order to know that I have started dragging a tri-mesh vertex, I need a new editor mode for dragging a tri-mesh vertex. And there'll also need to be a couple of reducer actions. So a couple of things that need to happen. If you move the mouse out of this area, I want a mouse... Oops, I don't want that open right now. If I'm clicking and I'm dragging, right, that sets the state to being dragged. But if I move my mouse cursor out of this area, I want to just cancel the whole thing. So that means that when I'm dragging something, I'm not actually dragging the item, or maybe I am, right? Maybe I just preserve a copy of the original, or maybe I preserve something called a working vertex. Like if I drag a vertex, then I have a working vertex that I'm dragging, not, I'm not going to worry about multi-select. It looks like maybe at most there's 100 vertexes. It is artwork editor. Like I'm trying to get something that's bare minimum and not too complicated, not too much to worry about. So I'm gonna just take it as is. So when you mouse down on a vertex and I start to drag it, I need to keep track of that in the reducer. If I go back to my code in the reducer here, I need to create a new mode. I'll throw that in my types. So I need a new editor mode. Oh, I got a friend of mine jumped in and said hi. So thanks for checking us out. I think you might find it interesting. I might also get very embarrassed as you watch me struggle to code the right things. You never know. Okay, so I need to create a mode for dragging these vertexes inside of the editor here. So I need to capture, since I'm not relying on the DOM events because I'm stuck between those three different worlds where I get either DOM events from SVG, I get DOM events from HTML, or I get Canvas events or WebGL events. I'm going to rely on the math for all these things. So when I click this button, I need to figure out how to determine that, right? So the determination for that is if I'm within range of that selected vertex. So what I kind of want to do is that when I'm in edit triangle mode, I need to add that. So when I'm in edit triangle mode and I'm moving the mouse, let's figure out what the closest vertex is to the current vertex. And so this is where things also get interesting, because let's say that I've got one selected, right? Or I selected this one or this one. Every time you select it and you move the mouse, so selecting it and moving the mouse are two separate things. But I also need to, upon selecting it, I also need to update the state to pick the new closest vertex at the same time I've clicked to. This is why reducers are so nice in the flow of data. Is because it forces you to be very explicit about the transaction, but at the same time it's so granular that it can sometimes be painful to realize like where your holes are going to be at. So a mouse down event, and then I click the vertex. That allows me to drag it. I want to highlight a vertex that's the one I'm closest to, or the one I'm about to interact with. So that means that if my mouse cursor goes over the edge of that blue circle, it should highlight that circle. So let's make sure we can do that by in the tri-shape editor. I have highlighted tri-shape. I have editor tri-shape. I have highlighted so I will this highlighted tri-shape vertex will only be valid during an editor tri-shape selection. And so that means I'm going to always know which one of the tri-shapes is selected. And I need to be able to update the closest tri-shape. That's also going to need to be part of the utils. So I'm going to say export function closest point, and a list of points. It'll be a vector2 array and then a point. Number. I want this to return back the index, so I'll say index of closest point. We'll just make it a little more verbose here. All I want to do is I want to map my points. So I'm just going to say points.map, and that's going to be p, and I'm going to say p dot subtract point. So all I'm doing here is I'm taking the point that that it's in the list, in the points list. I'm getting the point as the vector for the mouse coordinate would be the assumption here, but it can be any 2 points on the system, right? Then I'm saying, after subtracting those points, I can basically get a vector length, but I'm actually not going to get the length. I'm going to go ahead and get the length squared to just avoid the square root, because, you know, why not? So this will return back a list of points, but it's actually going to return back a list of the lengths of the points, and now I need to filter it for the maximum point in the array. So const I equals this. So I map that. I do a for each. This might be a little faster if I just did the for loop. For let I equals 0, I is less than points dot length I. This would end up, this is going to be called a whole bunch. I'd rather not write this just stupidly non-performant. I'd rather just, yeah, maybe it's a premature optimization, but it seems like a pretty obvious thing to just let this go ahead and do it, right? So we'll say result is -1, or we can say result is undefined. Let's just do that. The only way that this should ever return an undefined is if there are no points inside of the vector 2. It should always be able to return something as long as the points array is a valid array. And let's just assume that's what's going on. So I will say that right now the current result is, well, 0. We'll just say that that one's the current result. And we can simply say, let's say length is this right here, or length squared. We're only comparing the relative sizes of them all. And I need to say result index, and this is going to be not a const. This is let result length. And this can be number.max value, which is some ridiculously large number, right? And what I want to do is I want to say if length squared is less than result length, then we just simply say result index equals I. And P is going to be points I. I think that's a function. Yeah. And so in this case, we just simply return results index. Let's say that none of them are ever less than this, so maybe we'll just do -1 so that if it never finds something. All right, so index of closest point is now a function. In ArtMesh Reducer, when I'm moving my mouse around and I'm in edit triangle mode, I want to be able to highlight that. So I want to say case mouse move. I want to say if state dot editor try shape. I want to make sure that we're definitely editing a try shape. I don't think we can get here, but let's just be blunt about that. I'm going to go ahead and pull the state in, and I'm going to say highlighted try shape. Vert. And it's mad at me for something or another. Expected a break statement because this doesn't always return. So in this situation, I always want to just, I want to assert that editor mode so that I can bypass having to write all the break statements down here. That would get really redundant for no real gains, really. So in this case, yeah. All right, I can drop this, I can drop that. And so now I want to get const vert equals index of closest point. And I just want to send it a copy of all of the current shape. So I want to say state dot try shapes, state dot editor try shape, dot vertexes, comma, state.mousepause. It won't be state.mousepause, sorry, it's going to be action.mouse, payload.mousepause. Yeah. So that should have given me something. Oh yeah, I need to import that. And so that gave me that vert. And let's go ahead and put that there. And let's see what this bug was. What's going on here? Art mesh reducer. Okay, this error is only showing up in the compiler. So let's rerun it. Maybe there's something got out of sync. Okay, we are on 53. It's a number. Oh, I never saved this file. That's what's broken. That's why the editor wasn't crashing out, because the editor saw it, but the compiler did not. Okay. So now I have art mesh verts. I can do this. Now in theory, I should be getting a closest, I should have a closest one selected. So let's verify that there is a closest one selected. So I have highlight tri-shape vert. So I need to do that in here. I need to say the fill color is equal to state dot highlighted tri-shape vert question mark equals I question mark red or blue. Okay, so now when I add verts in and I move, oh, I broke that. So I just middle clicked to try to drag the display while in edit mode. So if I click, yeah. So for some reason, middle click breaks this on Art Tri-Shape Editor. It decides that there is no triangles of undefined. It decides that I have no selected IC. So if tri-shape, not tri-shape, then return, we'll just do this. Oh, I can't probably do that. It's probably a... So not perfect, but it'll keep it from crashing. Okay, so when I middle click, okay, that's definitely a problem. Let me go back. So in the reducer, mouse down on this edit triangle, I need to also say editor mode triangle mouse reducer. I need to say if action.payload.button is equal to 0, then we do that. And we break. So we got a click, click that, and now I'm no longer selecting an undefined while in the edit mode. So it should be, oh, something broke. Click, edit, click. Okay, so if I mouse down, but there is no, and now I can't select a new triangle. That's a fun one. Select triangle. I can select any triangle. I can even select the same triangle, so I'm pretty sure that's what's happening every time I click the center of it right now. And if I click off, it deselects, but it stays in edit triangle mode. So this is technically this is an invalid mode. You can't be in this state. And it's saying, now I shouldn't be able to get into a situation where there is no highlighted tri-shape. So what's happening here is that, I see what's happening. Yeah. It's setting it to undefined because that's a plausible option from the available options. Perfect. So this will stop giving me grief over that. So when the mouse moves, I have to calculate this index of closest point, and I probably need to debug through this thing. So let's go ahead and debug through this thing. We'll just go ahead and do that. And bring up the debugger. I'll drop in a point, drop in another one. So now that I'm not in edit mode, now I'm going to click on one, and then I'm in edit mode, which, if you remember, I said originally that whenever you go into edit mode, you're not also selecting the current closest point. I still need to do that in the mouse down handler that does sets the editor mode, because it won't do it for you, because it will in the next move though. When I mouse move, see, I got the mouse move that came through. So here we are. I have 3 points. I'm iterating over all the points. Looks like I get length of 3. I take points index dot subtract point. And that'll give me the actual vector, and then I get a length squared out of that, which gives me a 1.71. And if I say, hey, if this is less than the result length, yeah, then go ahead and set that to the new index, which the first index should totally be closest to that point. And at which point I then let's see, I'll step back over that, come back in. Now this one is now 1.79, which looks to be the same. They're all really close, so I'm guessing 17976. They're really tiny numbers. Oh, I see. It's not helpful seeing these in scientific notation. Yeah, not a fan of that in this situation. Okay, so result index is then being set. They're like all the same somehow. Okay, so it is setting the result index to 2. For some reason, all of the points came back. Let's see what all of these points look like with their lengths squared. I should be able to say points dot sub dot map p dot subtract so they're 4,000, 3,300. So the closest one should be 0.2. Oh, did I not update the... Yes, I'm being dumb. Result index. It helps if you actually set the value you're... Oh, Jesus. The value you're actually comparing. Okay, so doom, boom. And, oh, gotta get out of the debugger stuff. Triangle, triangle, triangle. Click to edit. Oh, look at that. All right. So now it does determine which one of these is the closest vertex, but I do not want to select a vertex if my distance is less than or is greater than, say, 10 units or something. I think 8 is what I drew those at. So this is where I kind of need to stop having magic numbers buried in the code too, because that's going to start getting a little little annoying. But at the moment, I'm just going to roll with it. And I will have to sort these out. I don't want to roll. Let's do this. Let's do art mesh const ts export const try mesh vert radius equals 8. That's probably why these things are so damn big. So now if I go to the art mesh editor and we I'm drawing these things, you'll see there is a radius here. Looks like it was 5. I can just do this to auto import it. Yeah, they got much bigger. Boom. And then I can come back and I can say, yeah, I'm glad I just did that. It's fine. I got a few constants that would be nice to be able to modify them, because right now the vertexes also don't scale with they're supposed to stay like idempotent, through the life cycle of the zoom, but they do not. The zoom just kind of does the So this is fine, and this is the radius, and then so now in the reducer, mouse move, I get the index of the closest point, and then I need to say, let's see, states, trimesh, vertexes, let's just keep the verts, const verts equals this guy, and then we'll, yep, if vert is greater than or equal to 0, and vert dot subtract action dot payload dot mouse pos, which I'll just extract mouse pos up here, const we'll say verts like that. If mouse pos dot length is less than or equal to trimesh vert radius, Then we'll go ahead and we will return that, and we need to break. Yeah, so now it should only highlight, boom, if I'm on top of it, which it does. Else, I actually just need to set this to undefined now. Undefined. So now the vertex is only highlighted when I mouse over it. Yep. And again, this is all handled, you know, it's obviously it's all handled in the mathematics of the back end. It's not handled as a front end. I'm not using DOM. That means I'm fully separated from my rendering layer, which will help when I start building this editor with other tools if it ends up being more WebGL based, or if it ends up being, if I continue going with the SVG. The SVG is, you know, doing really well so far. I mean, it's really good for just getting this kind of out there and done. It may have slowdowns in the future. I don't know. So now the idea is that if I'm over a vertex, I can determine that. I also need to do something for hovering the line segments, and that I can do with the sign distance field, but I'm not 100% sure if I have the right code for the sign distance field to work correctly. So I have in my utils, oh actually, sorry, it's an art mesh editor. I have an SDF line, but I think the algorithm's wrong in some capacity. This garbage can go. So I'm going to find this function. There it is, SDF line. And then I'll put this in my utils. So what this does is it expresses it expresses the space between the two endpoints as if they were the extruded segment of the center of a tube. It sort of works, but I don't think this is correct. I have a better SDF of a line, so we'll just look one up. There's several of the algorithms. Circle, rounded box, SD oriented box, segment. Yeah, so we'll just borrow this right here. I wonder if they include any kind of license information for the code that's on this page. They don't really. It's supposed to be a tutorial page. I'm very familiar with this author. Actually, posts on Shader Toy all the time, and some really damned good Shader Toy stuff as well. So, I think it's probably fine. I don't think they care at all. So, all right. So we'll have a function SD segment. I'll say. This is the point. This is P vector 2. Then this is vector 2 vector 2a vector 2 B vector 2. Now this isn't obviously written in. I'm not writing this in WebGL or GLSL or whatever the language is for the GLSL. So this is, I don't get swizzling, I wish. But we have to do this, const PA, const PA, const BA. So this will be p.subtract a. So we're using this vector library that I have from Babylon.js, subtract a. I don't have a clamp. Clamp is just min-max. yeah. So I have a vector2 dot function and divided by a vector2 dot function as well. And clamp is going to be max of this thing, comma 1. Oh, math.max. Okay. Math.max and math.min. Oh, I can't do. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. That is just a regular number now. Comma 0.0. So this will clamp it between 0 and 1. If I do a minimum on this value at, yeah, I want to do this. I want to do 0 and 1 point. I think I want to do it that way. H, and then we want to say PA dot subtract BA. Why is it yelling at me? Dot length. I think this is it. Let me double check that last little bit there. Why is it taking BA times H? Interesting. I think I understand why. Dot multiply by floats HH dot length. I think this is what the actual correct way to do that would be. You know, that wouldn't matter, because if you take the vector and you what we'll see. So I got SD segment. So this is one thing I have. I want to something just occurred to me that if I use this in my tri-mesh, whenever I'm mousing over a line segment and I want to get when I split the line segment, if I have two adjacent triangles, I'm actually going to be getting the center point between two verts, but I'll also be getting the line segments that also are within, like, so I'll be selecting multiple line segments, and I think I might want to code it that way, where the mouse handler, when it mouses over, it'll look at all the line segments on all the triangles, and it will then determine which point that I'm nearest to on the line, or, you know, to determine which where I'm at on this line. Oh yeah, that was something I wanted to do. I might not, I'm only going to let it split the lines in half. I'm not going to let you arbitrarily click anywhere on the triangle, and that's because you'll still be able to move the vert. It shouldn't be that annoying of an editor, like that annoying of a situation in the editor, I hope. And when you click to create a new vert, you should just be able to click to, you know, select it, and then you just drag it around. Yeah, that should be good enough. And if it isn't, yeah, whatever. Go use a different tool. No, we'll figure something out, I think. Okay. So I kind of want to see what this test of this would look like. I'm just going to do this real quick. Window as any. I need a quick sandbox, so we'll put put that in here, and it needs new vectors. So window as any vector 2 equals vector 2 like this. So now I got a couple of little sandboxy things I can do. Oh, I need to get that moving out of my reducer. You gotta be careful of those console dot. Oh. You don't want them creeping into your. All right, so vector 2, new vector 2, and I'll say 0, comma 0, and new vector 2. That's our. What am I doing? I gotta assign that to a value. Let f equal. I'll just say a equal that. Let b equal new vector 2, 10 comma 0, and then let x equal new vector 2, x of 10, a y of 2, and then underscore SD segment, and that'll be it'll be x, a, b, and I would expect it, it's 2. Okay, so I'd expect it to be 2 because it's only 2 units above the last element on that line, and so I feel like that's accurate. And then I need to do, I want to set the x here to new vector 2. Let's do 5 comma 2, and so that should be a little bit farther away because it's in the middle above both points. So this is telling you that it's, you know, how close it is to the line segment in units, unit pixels or whatever. So this, I think this is right. I think this SD segment is correct over my other SD segment. So we'll just steal that one for now. We'll do, let's just rename it to SDF segment, and then I just drop this one. I don't really know how that one came about, but that's okay. So if I then take this back to my art mesh reducer, and let me go into my constants as well. I need to define the constant of that line width. So try mesh vert radius. This is going to be line width, and I think I'll set it to 2. I will actually set another line width. This is line, I don't know, size we'll call it. I don't really know what to call this. This is how close you actually have to be to click the line, because you don't want to be right on top of it. You don't have to click 2 pixels. I might make this like 6. So this is what I'll use in my reducer now. I want to, when I'm in art mesh reducer dispatch mouse. So when I'm in the editor mode, edit triangle mouse reducer. So this is when I'm editing triangles, and the mouse moves. I want to iterate over all of the, let's see, verts shapes. This right here gets the highlighted vertex that I'm closest to, and the vert will, okay, you can only highlight a vertex or a line. You can't do both, so that's okay. So what I want to do is I want to say const lines or segments is equal to, I really just need shapes. Yeah, let's do this. Let's turn this into vertexes to match the, and then we'll drop this. And then I'll do triangles in here. And so I want to iterate over all the triangles to determine all of my line segments that I have in the system, so that when I'm working in the, I gotta get the art mesh worker again. So I'm going to look at all of the, this is broken because SD segment, because this is wrong. SDF line for segment. Yeah. So when you're in here and you're editing the art mesh and you drop a triangle down, I want to be able to select the line through the reducer. So how am I going to do that? Yeah, so if you move the mouse and you're within the line segment, it'll highlight the line. But if you're within the vertex, it'll highlight the vertex first. So it's like an early abort there. So this makes perfect sense to me. So the line segment highlighting is a little different because triangles can have shared edges. So, you know, you will have at most 2 triangle edges, 2 triangles sharing an edge. I mean, that seems to be that seems to be a logical statement. It's plausible, I guess. But what dimension are you in that you have 3 triangles on a 2-dimensional grid adjacent to one another? So in this case, I want to be able to save a maximum of 2 line segments that I'm close to. What I want to do is for now, I want to figure out which line segments my mouse is within. So I need to go over each of the possible line segments. I need to when I'm like, I think long term what I need to do is in the state, I need to manage every single line segment as an individual line segment. That knows whether it's whether it shares a edge with 2 different triangle indexes. That could be hard too. I don't know. This is fine for now. So I want to just iterate over each of the triangles here. So let's do triangles dot for each triangle. So this is just a tri-mesh. What a triangle is, it's a set of indexes. Why? Oh, because this will always return. Oh, right. So I kind of just want to set a let highlighted vert shape equal undefined, or just let, you don't have to set it. And then now I want to do try. So the try should be just an array. And so this is the index to each of the vertexes in this triangle. So line 1 is going to be try 0, or I guess P, oh, how's it? Yeah, I guess line 1, okay, hold on. Line 1 is going to be just triangles. I'm trying to think of how I want to do this with the I just want to do it for each segment then. I want to say try dot for each S segment or line, I guess I should say segment, we'll call it. Okay, there we go. So now I take vertexes segment. Oh, if I iterate over each of these, so this triangle is a list of arrays of line segments which are start and ends. So this is the segment start and end. So I should get 2 integers here. No, it says number. So wait, what am I doing? So this is triangles. This should be a triangle. What is this? This is an array of numbers. I guess okay, just this is, okay, cons P1. That's what I'm trying to do. P3, 0, 1, 2. And I want to see how close I am to each of these line segments by saying SDF segment, which it's decided I don't have because I didn't export it. Which is decided I can't get because it hasn't had a chance to put it in an index anywhere, so it's going to be a jerk. And so this would be, I don't like the order of its I prefer to have A, B point. So this will be, we'll just say P1, P2, mouse pause. And D2 and D3. This will be P2, P3, and this will be P3, P1. And so these line segments don't actually exist. So what I'll refer to them as is the triangle origin, the vertex point. And so it'll always be that vertex plus a vertex plus 1 mod 3, right? So that way it always, that's the idea. So this is, you know, vertex 0's line segment, vertex 2's line segment, etc. What I need to figure out is which line segment is the mouse cursor within 10 pixels of, I guess. I guess that's what I'm trying to sort out. So we'll say segment 0 is equal to, we'll just say let segment 0, let segment 1. And the idea here is that I'll iterate over all the triangles. I'll see which one that you're within 10 pixels of. I'll assign segment 0 unless you have it. Oh, you know, I could just do this. Segments. And we'll just push it into there if you're within 10 pixels of any line segment. This could get weird too if you have overlapping lines. Yeah, because if you have a line that's doubled back for some reason, let me think through this. I think just writing for the simple case will be fine, and then I will sort out what happens when there's degenerate cases. There may just be like a priority system. You're always going to be closest to a line segment anyway, no matter how degenerate you build it, right? Unless you build a tri-mesh that just happens to have lines that literally are on top of each other. And you could do it. You could drag the point to be right on top of the base or something like that. So I'm not sure how to handle that situation, at least at the moment. I just tell the end user not to do that. That's how you solve that problem. Yeah. I guess it would be the first 2 line segments that get filled, but we wouldn't want it to be like that either, because you could end up with a, so if you have a triangle in space, let me get my editor going. Oops. Let me get this editor going here. So if I happen to have this one here, right? So if you have a triangle, let's think this through. So triangle, you know, it's plausible that you might take this vertex on the top left corner, and by itself, you would drag it over here. Now, my tool sort of has this inconsistent belief that you are always picking up to 2 line segments. And I guess that's not the case. What I need to make it do is I need to make it decide which 2 points you are between, and then I go and look to see if there's any other lines that share those 2 points, in which case that would then bail correctly early. Yeah, because if I mouse over this, and let's say depending on the order of these lines and how they're determined, is it V that does this? Control click. That's the one. And then somehow I'm supposed to be able to neutralize these points. I just can't remember how to do it. I must have dragged a little bit. So the idea here is that if I make it so that it only picks between 2 points, let's say that this short line is on the top of the list, it'll bail first and say the short line is what I'm clicking, which is fine, because, you know, you've set it into a weird situation. Or if the long line happens to be at the top of the list and it just aborts because it's found these 2 points, then it jumps out of that. To me, that's acceptable. So what we're looking for then is any one of the shortest possible pairs of any of the line segments. And so that will be vertex index is v1. So let v1 equal -1. Let v2 equal -1. And what I want to do is find the vertex pair that I'm closest to, and then I'll have to look up the line segment in the triangle mesh array, I think, is the way I would do that. So how am I sorting this? So how do I do this one? So in here, I'm going to calculate, I've already calculated the distance of my mouse cursor to each one of these three segments. I want to figure out which one of these three segments is the closest one to my mouse cursor. And then depending on which one that is, I'll determine if that's closest to this v1 d1 distance. Or what if I just said, you know, if d1, or what is it? Yeah, d1 is distance is less than in this const mesh line size. If it's already here, then let's just set v1 equal to p1 and v2 is equal to d2. Right? Because I don't really care about, I just care about a quick and easy result, not the perfect one. So this should be a number. What is this? It should be a number. Why is it not letting me assign this? Vector 2's. Oh, right. I want the vertex index. So that's going to be, so if D1 is less than the tri-mesh line size, it means that, you know, the line segment P1 to P2, well, that's try 0. So try 0 to try 1. And I know I'm writing this out manually, but I think it's just going to be the quickest way to get this sorted. And then I can just, I can't break, but I can return from this inside of this for each loop. I'm just going to rewrite this as a for loop, I think, because for I equals 0, I is less than state.try shapes.length. That's 1 I plus plus like this, and then const try equals state.triangles. But try shapes I this, and then I can break from here when I decided that, oh yeah, that's good enough. It's a good enough answer. Like, it doesn't be perfect, and I can just do the same thing to all of these. D2, and so this is obviously 1, 2, and I need to make sure I import this. And this is going to be 0, 1, 2. Oh, remember I said that I only needed to maintain the actual singular vertex. I don't even need, so I really only need the vertex that I'm nearest to in here, and if any one of these is less than that size, then I just set v equal to try 0. Or in this case, D2, I'll set v equal to try 1, break, and I'll set v equal to try 2 and break. So is there a better pattern now that I've sort of sorted out that logic? Is there a cleaner pattern I could use instead of just spelling it out like this? I mean, I don't think I mind one way or the other. What I'm thinking, let's see, highlighted tri-shape vert. Let's go find this value. I want to do highlighted tri-shape line. Yeah. And then, so one of the things we can do is assign distance fields that I'm using to track the mouse cursor position. I could, at some point, composite the assigned distance fields to put, sort of like how CSG is done. You just slap two inverted spheres on the end of the line segments that are bigger than your vertex dimension. So let's say in my const I have this is my mesh verse radius. I might not want the ability for the user to move the cursor directly to the line, because it could add a little confusion. So maybe what I do is, instead of allowing them to move straight from the vertex to this line segment, is there's a little bit of a gap, and I can use the assigned distance fields to kind of composite that stuff together too. So that's pretty nice little trick to add to that. So if I invert a circle in that assigned distance field, I can use that as a as a tool, and I might might make a utility that just does, hey, it's just within the line length minus some sort of fudge numbers, and then it'll always say, yep, you're totally next to that line, or you're totally not next to that line, one or the other, Okay, so we have the highlighted tri-vert shape. I need to set that here because that changed the way that worked. And then this is the highlighted. Did I change that in my types? Shape line. So this should this is going to break a couple things just because that should have broke the art mesh editor, but that's okay. Let's line equals this. We'll just do let because it can be undefined, and it should be undefined if you don't have a line that's selected. So in the art mesh reducer, I will be putting, so this is the highlighted tri-shape line. We'll just do this for now. If there's a better solution, I'll fix it later. Good enough. Okay, so vertexes. Why is it mad at the vertexes? Can I find name vertexes? Why can't you find name vertexes? Did I get some parentheses out of order or something? What did I do silly that would have made it not happy with that? Yeah, that's strange. Oh, return outside a function. Did I do something really weird? I probably broke. Oh, I broke a lot of stuff, it looks like. Yeah, I probably got some kind of... So it thinks, oh wow. What did I do? Okay, hold on, let's go back. When did I first hurt you? Oh, I see. Got it. Boy, I hate it when that happens. All right, so then the highlighted tri-shape line. Perfect. So now at the bottom of this, I can return the state. That's inside the for loop. Don't do that. Return state, comma, highlighted tri-shape line, and then highlighted tri-shape vert, like this. So it should run. So there's the asset art editor. Oh, did it break? Oh, wow. That blowed up. It could be when I mouse move. No, it seems so. I can add triangles. Ah, okay. So when I add the triangle and go into triangle edit mode by clicking it, this blows up. That is an interesting. That's probably the most useless I've ever. Okay, so it's breaking on e.subtract. Because, oh, maybe I'm doing, so mouse pause is my vertexes should be vector 2s. I have no reason to think that the vector 2s would be wrong. P1, P2, P2, P3, P3, P1. So that should go around. What's blowing up in here? Is that what it's saying? Oh, that's why it's dumped so much junk code, is because it's in Babylon JS's vector library. So I'm not getting a lot of good insight. Generally what this means is that I sent the wrong arguments to Babylon JS somehow. So p.subtract, we only have 3 places inside a SDF segment that do a subtract. Debugger like this. Boom, 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 boom. Selected, and then it breaks because we're checking the distance field here. And oh, A and B are undefined. Weird. Okay, go back. So it's telling me that P1, P2 are not defined. Because oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay. I see what I'm doing wrong here. Try shapes I. Oh, am I not doing this right at all? Yeah, I need to not. I'm not iterating over try shapes. I'm iterating over the current try shape triangles. That's what I need to be doing. Yeah, what am I doing? This is triangles dot length and triangles I. Whew. Okay, well that would break things. And then refresh this. Click, click, click. So a couple. Okay, that didn't blow up in the debugger. So I can hover over the mouse or the vertexes. And let me see. Okay. So I should actually have a vertex. So when I'm over this line, it should be highlighting. So if I'm over this line, it'll highlight 2. If I'm over this line, it's going to show me 0. And I can show that in the actual art mesh editor by modifying this. This is the wrong one. This is art shape outline editor. I need the art try mesh editor. Art try shape. That's what it was. Try. It's this thing. There it is. So the circles, their color is based on whether or not they're highlighted. So instead of doing highlighted tri-shape vert, let's do the tri-shape line. So now as I mouse over the line, we can see if my selected, well, I think it's going splendidly. I wonder what it's picking. Let's see what it actually picks when we move. So let's do this. In the reducer, yeah, we do try 0, try 1, try 2. I kind of want to know what the actual D1, D2, and D3 numbers are. That'd be, I mean, interesting. I don't know if it'd be that useful, but I'll look through them and see what we get. We get nothing? Oh, you know what? I could be in the wrong. This is edit triangle. No, this is edit. This is edit triangle mouse reducer. Okay. I don't know what's going on. That's okay. I don't have to always know what's going on. What I'm thinking is, so this SDF segment, I'm fairly confident it's okay. I don't know why I'm not getting, like, so in this situation, I know that the tri-shape is defined, so this is a valid triangle. So I should be iterating over the triangle length, which the debugger showed me I was doing just fine. Let's throw the debugger on that again. Let's do that. Debugger. This. Boom, boom. And then I moused over. Oh. Is the mouse over now working? Am I returning early? Why wouldn't it iterate over this? It should be... oh, wait a minute. No, that should be right. I should get a list of triangles. I guess I'll just throw the debugger right here. Because it was highlighting the vertex earlier. Yeah. So why is it not getting inside of that? That's fascinating. Well, what's triangles? Triangles is an array of 3? That can't be right. That's not right. Hold on a second. Oh, that's the 0th element of that array is 3 items long. That's right. So this is triangles, length is 1. Okay, yeah, that's just reading the screen wrong. That's all. Oh, how's everybody doing out there today? I see there's a couple people watching. Anything exciting going on your way? While I struggle through this perplexing problem. Oh, what am I doing? Why did I -1 this? That's what it was. It just wasn't iterating over the damn triangles. Oh, got another debugger in the utils. So it should have some, yeah, these are all, okay. I kind of expect these, right? So, because when you click the actual mouse cursor, the minute you click the mouse cursor, you are effectively smack dab in the center of that triangle. So there's no real good answer. So these will be quite close. Like this one is what, 28.81, this is 28.2. So it got one mouse move after it, which is just a couple pixels away from the original center or original calculated, but this makes sense. And then 34.8 is probably the topmost point, I would assume. Maybe shouldn't assume. Maybe it's something else. Okay, so wait, what is this? Why is it saying weird things after that piece of code? That's not what I wrote. Why does it say highlighted tri-shaped line D1, D2, D3? That's odd. Okay, let's just drop the debugger. It looks like it's going to be able to carry on and work without any. Boom. Okay, I moved and it crashed. Highlighted tri-shape line is not a function, but I never call that as a if d1 is. What? That is not what's happening, but that is... Oh, wait, that's a different line of code. Oh, wow. Okay, hold on. Weird. Oh, I must have did that when I was trying to console log those values. I typed some utterly stupid into the... Okay. Yeah, so it looks like it's only allowing me to... Weird. So it says that I'm closest to this line segment. I don't think this is working the way I would hope it to. Oh, I shouldn't have started this stream without eating some food first. I'm starting to get kind of hungry. Oh, I just noticed D3 isn't even part of this. Oh, that's probably part of my issue. So D3 is now part of the scan. Okay, so I can at least get near, but I don't know what that number actually is. Let me just console log this value. So we're just going to do D1, which is the distance between 0 and 1, or the distance to the triangle on 0 and 1. So console. Yeah, so my distance here is like really low, but then I bring it up and it's getting larger. It's kind of not giving the distances I would expect. Like, it shouldn't be 27 on any line segment. It should be basically 0 on one of these line segments. Oh, I see. So it's like it's almost just determining the distance from the point. And I'm drawing from P1 to P2. I need to be able to... This seemed like it was working. My stupid simple example seemed to be working. None of these coordinates are in the wrong scale or anything like that, so that shouldn't matter. If the art mesh asset editor, we're in the right mode. There's nothing crazy like that going on. So I think here. I just need to break down this. I need to fire up my testing environment again, so that way I can prove to myself that my some sanity is going on. So let's see what happens. I think it's going to blow up because it tries to render this app TSX, and I seriously doubt that's going to work worth a shit at all. Yeah, there's just so much that's probably busted because it just can't do all the things I'm trying to do. I'm going to drop the app TSX for now. I'm going to double check that before I go crazy here. It looks like yeah, it looks like there's a whole bunch of stuff that Pixie.js is doing. So I'm just gonna let Pixie.js go for the moment, or the app test here. We can just pretend like that one passed. I'm okay with that. So look at that, passed flying colors. We're gonna do an art mesh reducer TS. We're gonna do here, new file, mesh reducer. Or this is not the reducer. I want to do art mesh editor utilities, utils. So let's do a new file here. Added that, describe art mesh editor utilities. It can calculate the SDF of a line, of a segment, we'll say. I may move these things out of here, but that's okay. Import from /art editor utils SDF segment. So SDF segment, new, I need a vector2, import vector2 from Babylon.js. And we'll say new vector2. We'll say 0, 0. And then we'll have another vector that's at x of 10, the y of 2. So x of 10, y of 2. That. And we will say the new vector is going to be an x of 10, but a y of 2. So this is a line from 0, 0 to 10, 10 compared to a point that's at 10, 2. I would expect this. I would expect. Geez, I can't type. Okay. I would expect that to equal 4, which is not the answer. But let's see. Oh, it can't be 4. Oh, it's 2, and I know that to be the correct answer. So let's fix this. Okay. All right. We're playing the TDD game. It's my favorite game of all time. All right. Well, we got this line segment from 0, 0 to 10, 10. Well, what happens if we go on 0, 2? I bet that's a 4. No? Maybe? No, it's got to be. Oh, it shouldn't be a 0 though. I know that it should be a 2. So this SDF is calculating wrong in some cases. Yeah. Because at 0, 0 to 10, 10, I know that's the line. So the line segment goes there. If my x is 0 and my y is 2, then I should be able. This should be a law of SDF should be 2 here. Okay. Well, why is that broken? I remembered that this was a bit wonky-do. I thought that this made more sense to say dot length times h here. But we got the same answer. Yeah, we got the same answer on the first one, but the wrong answer on the second one. I'm not going to really try to figure out the math behind that. I am just going to look for another JavaScript signed distance field. A signed distance field generator for fonts? Signed distance from system fonts on the browser using Canvas 2D. That's fascinating. So you can, that's kind of interesting. You can compile, I'll have to like bookmark this for later. That's interesting. Is there a shader parkour? Yeah, but this requires GLSL. I'm looking for what's in our index? Is there stuff in here? Yeah, this all compiles out to GLSL to something, it looks like, or it builds GLSL. If there was examples, generators, sculpt, no. targets. No, it looks like it's way outside the mark for what I want. Sign distance fields are often used in shader language, and they're useful, but I want them inside my code. I don't want them exclusively in shader world. I need them in JavaScript for testing stuff. This is a C++. That'll be fine. I can mouse callback, simulation. This is not really what I would want either. I see what they're doing. It's just kind of making a sign distance field 2D. Yeah, they're like calculating. Maybe I don't know exactly what they're doing here, because it doesn't exactly make a whole lot of sense to be similar to what I want. I think they're generating a sign distance field from just a composite of equations like this. So I'm just going to take this segment code again. And with this SD segment code, I'm going to look up compare this to what I have again. I'm quite certain that P minus A is equal to P dot subtract A. And I think BA is equal to B dot subtract A without any question. This clamp could be wrong, but I know the dot product to be, I'm quite certain the dot product is correct. So what I can do is take the dot product out of here and put that there, the dot product division. And so we are doing a dot product of PA comma B divided by the dot product of BA comma B. Now I think dot products are communicative. They don't matter which order you put the arguments in. I think they work fine. So that leaves me with this clamp function. So let's see if there's a JavaScript clamp function. We'll do that. JavaScript clamp. Min max. Let's just put a clamp function on it. It could be that I typed that wrong. Let's just pretend that I'm an idiot, which 9 times out of 10. I don't, what? Oh no, I see. Value min max. This is value min max. All right, so instead of saying, I'll say dp min is that and max is 1.0. Should there be a 0 to 1 on this? Because 1.0 is not, I think, because I want the actual distance coming back from this, not like some clamped value. But I could be wrong. That could be normalizing the vector. Yeah, it's normalizing the vector between these two. Yeah, okay, I see what that's doing. Because you would expect this to come back in one. So we're going to take PA, subtract BA, and instead of doing dot length here, which I think might be wrong, what I want to do is get the length of the difference between those two vectors multiplied by floats, which would be h, comma h, dot length like this. I think this is correct now. Okay, it still failed on the second test. So to me, I would expect I'm not 100% certain that 0, 2 is actually going to be equal to 2. But I certainly don't believe that 0, 2 would be equal to 0. That doesn't make sense to me. Like if it was 1.9998, I'm like, all right, I'll just take that. You know, like that's fine. I wouldn't care. Maybe I just short distance. 2D point to line distance to segment square distance to segment. Let's try another approach. I thought this sign distance field thing would work, but maybe I'm just wrong in my assumptions. So distance to segment, we're going to say point, and it looks like point is an XY, so I can call this vector 2. And a line is EX, so let's just say A. We'll just do this again. We'll say AB vector like that. And I can simply say delta is equal to line.n, which, so that's B dot subtract A. So var d. So L2 is equal to dx times dy plus, that would happen to be d dot length squared, like this. And if L2 is equal to 0, then it's simply the distance. So that means it's a degenerate line. It's like a single point. And so that's what this dist function is all about. That'll be point colon vector 2. And we won't need that actually, because I just need to say, hey, if that length is this, then we just need to return back point line dot, or sorry, that's going to be A dot subtract P dot length like this. So boom, that should be right, or point. Yep, and then now we say T is equal to point. Oh, this looks very much like what I already wrote. That's what's so funny about this. Okay, so this is going to be point.x minus start x, so that's a.x times dx, d.x, plus point.y. This is start y. So I would just say a.y times d.y divided by L2. And then we say t is math.max is 0, math.min a 1 comma t. And then we just say return the distance of start x, so a.x plus t times d.x, comma start y, sy, s dot y, or a dot y plus t times d dot y. And so this is basically a dot x t y t. This is confusing. That's what that is. But it's basically the point dot subtract new vector to this amalgamation dot length like this. I think that's what this is, and I can just export distance to segment. And let's try these two values now. And then I'll import them. Both of these passed. I will stop struggling and just use this code, regardless of how goofy it looks, without all the vector stuff in it. So this is probably dot product over L2, which is a subtract point length, which is the same thing as... I don't know. But that looks correct, which then makes me think that maybe my code would work if I switched over to it. So let's go to the art mesh reducer, and instead of SDF segment, we'll do dist to segment. And dist to segment is kind of wrong for me right now. It needs to be, oh no, it is AB point. AB point. And then if I come back into here, oh, look at that. Look at that. It lets me select the line. Whew. Okay. So now I know when I'm mousing over a line. Excellent. Excellent. I also know when I'm mousing over a vertex. So let's get this highlight vert. So I need to make these into a couple of, these actually need to be, this needs to be like its own utility function, because, okay, this needs to be a function get edit try mesh highlight, because, and it just needs mouse pause. I don't care about anything else. And it's going to return back, what's it going to return back? It's going to return back highlight tri-shape vert. And tri-shape line is the two things it's going to return back. And what I want to do is take, I need to know the tri-shape that you're currently looking at. Because I need this to also, I need to reproduce this code on the mouse down. So when mouse down triggers something, it needs to also look up these for the thing. So this is not that, it's art mesh editor state. Mouse pause vector 2, and then we'll just say, hey, you know, if we don't have a tri-shape, we need to bail. That's fine. And we need to define this as undefined. It wants these to be, I need to make them undefinable. Like that. Why is it mad? Because it doesn't return those. We don't need a mouse pause in the payload, but we do need to return back the two values of highlighted line shape and the highlighted tri-shape vert. And then in here, we need to say, let's bring those things out. It's get edit try mesh highlight. And so in that case, I need to pass in state, and I need to say mouse pause is going to be action.payload.mousepause, like this. And then I bring those out like that. And they're mad at me because Boolean undefined is not. Oh, it's not a Boolean. What did I do? Did I really set that to Boolean? That's funny. I don't know why that actually was allowed to return those values, because oh, it's interesting. I don't know why it was allowed to do that. Okay, so I should still get the ability to drop triangles and edit. I get a line that's being highlighted when I get my mouse cursor over it. And then I need to do another debugger window. Let me see if I can do... Okay, so now that I've got the ability to highlight a line when I hover it, or to know that I'm hovering that line at any point on it. Oh, you know what? Shit. I don't know. I know the... okay, so I'm not storing the right information, because just because I've iterated over all the triangles and I've stored the individual vertex that I am like closest to on this tri-mesh, what I'm actually missing is I'm not recording the actual triangle that I think I'm closest to. Man, oh man. This is highlighted tri-shape. No, this is, yes. So there's a vert and a line that needs to be... You know what this should be? So, yeah, I could co-opt it like this. If you highlight a tri-shape vert, that is the first vert of a line. So if you're over a vertex, it should just return from here, right? We should just say return. Yeah, so if you are highlighting a vertex, we just abort quick. We abort short. We don't let the system go through. Just like this. So we no longer need this. And if you are highlighting a tri-shape, let's go back into the types. It's not going to be a shape vert, it's going to be vert 1. Let's do a refactor on that. A vert 1. And this is going to be a vert 2. And so in this situation, what will happen is, so here's what I've done. If you happen to be selecting vert 1 but not vert 2, you've obviously selected just the vertex itself. If you selected vert 1 and vert 2, or both those are actually defined, then you've selected a line segment. And that's how I'll actually define the logic out. This makes a lot of sense now. I think I like where this ended up. Okay, so what I want to do here is this is no longer, this needs to be vert1 and vert2. And I can say vert1, vert2. And in this case, right, you've hovered over a vertex. So let's go ahead and give it vert1, and then vert2 is undefined. And so in this case, we're just going to go ahead and return vert1 is equal to try 0. But vert2 is actually try 1, like that. And then we'll just return. And we'll do the same for all of these. Right? And so this is try 0, this is try 1 to try 2. And this is try 2 to try 0. And more breaks. And the yeah, this works well. So now when I iterate, we get, I'm liking it. I think this works. So, all right, this may break because it's totally broken because there's like all kinds of stuff that needs to be rejiggered. What's this? There should be no reason why they won't. Oh, I hate where I live, I'm telling you. We get some of the most busted vehicles driving down the road right next to my house. And I'm right next to a hill, so everything like tries to, I gotta floor it up that hill, and there's just no way to get rid of the noise. I've tried. It's so terrible. So this is fine. So now I gotta fix this. This is vert1, right? And this is vert2. And now in the art mesh editor, I need to say highlighted try shape vert1. Hey, if you're vert1, then go ahead and make this. I want to do this a little bit more. I want to do this. I want to prop this up into a function and then return this, and I'll set const color equals let color equal blue. And then if state highlight try shape vert1, so this is obviously the situation where we've got a line, right? So if it's a vertex, it's color blue. But if we're in a situation where it is a line segment, we want to say if I is equal to this number, then we're going to return back. We're going to say color equals red. But if I happens to be the second vert color, let's make it gray. And then we got down here, we just say color. So now, when I select a vertex, when I mouse over a vertex, I should get, I should have got red, but I get red and gray when I mouse over a line, which I thought I got. Oh, it's set to blue. I need it to set to not blue. It needs to be, oh no, it's blue by default. Right. And then I want to say else if this equals, if vert2 is equal to undefined, then we want to say this thing here, and we want to set the color to violet. So now I can see when I have just a vertex selected. Yeah, I know. I broke it a second ago. Just got to catch up with the compiler. Okay, so if I mouse over the line, I get red and gray, but if I mouse over the vertex, I'll get violet. Look at that. And so I get a line segment selection, and now I need to implement the ability to click on this line segment and split it. And with that, let me think what I need to do to split. When you click it and you split it, I think what I'll do is I'll go through all of the line segments, and I'll make I'll iterate through all the triangles, and I'll split each individual triangle that happens to have a line segment that has these two vertex indexes in them. I think that'll be the solution. So this will support the situation where there's a triangle, you know, like already on an edge of another triangle. So you'll end up with, you know, the ability to split it. Okay, moving along, slow but sure. Yeah, I think now that I've also fixed the tests for the base level of tests, I think what I'll do is over the weekend I'll try to write some tests that wrap my state, my reducers, so that I can actually get some coverage on the reducers. So because I might end up doing a little more TDD style work on this project as it, you know, requires it. Okay, so I have the ability to click on a line segment now. So if I'm not, you know, I can click another one. Oh, I need to fix this too. So as soon as I click it, I also need to, when I do a mouse down and I adjust the highlights, I need to also transfer those over in my reducer. So this is in mouse edit. So here I am. I've got a mouse down button on a new highlighted tri-shape. And in this case, I need to say, hey, I want to also get the edit tri-mesh highlight against the state. I don't want to do it against the state. I want to get it against the individual tri-shape, because I don't think I need anything else other than this tri-shape, like this. And I can just say if editor tri-shape is undefined. No, I can't make it technically optional. So anyway, then this, and that should still work. Okay, so now it's broken here because I need to pass that in. So I need to say state.editor tri-shape shapes state.editor tri-shape. Why are you mad at me? Oh, this is tri-shapes. Right, and so now I also need to set these out here, and it won't be editor tri-shape. I need to. That's a mistake. It needs to be. It needs to be the highlighted tri-shape, which is this right here. So now when I switch, why is that mad? Why? Oh. We got all kinds of stuff mad at us. What's going on here? Yeah, that was what happened. Too many braces. Okay. So now when I switch between triangles, it'll run the right code for the selected indexes. So if I click this one, if I click really close to this one, yeah, it automatically selected the line segment stuff for me. So that way that's correctly handled. It's probably not that big of a deal because you have to be right on top of those verts anyway. But if you select like this, yeah. Now you still have to click twice. You won't be able to just like click and start dragging the vertex, right? That wouldn't work. And also already you can see where you can see that this doesn't, interesting. It doesn't select the other triangle until I'm well within the triangle. I got to figure out why that is. Oh, I know what's going on. So I'm selecting triangles based on the bounding box, not on the actual like inside the triangle. So imagine a square bounding box around this. My ultimate goal is to just say, hey, are you in the bounding box? Cool. Are you inside of any of the triangles? Oh, then highlight that one. But right now I'm just like, are you in the bounding box? Yes. Okay, cool. Whatever, select it. So it is a little awkward to switch between them. All right. So now I need to make the line get split. Yeah, I need to, okay, since I think I have all the pieces in play to actually split a line or start dragging a vertex. I guess decide which one I want to handle first. So if we're in editor mode, edit triangle, mouse reducer, then what I probably want to do, if action.payload.mouse.button down is equal to 0, and we are in a situation where there is no highlighted, or the highlighted shape does not equal undefined, it sort of implies that we are highlighting another shape. So when you move your mouse around, different shapes get highlighted. Now, one of the things that kind of happens that could be a problem, which I don't think it is, but we'll see, is that every time I think I click, I think I'm always changing the mode here to then always go back to change that up. Now that doesn't affect anything. All these values are exactly the same as they were in the previous state. But I don't know if that's could be cause for issue or not. I'm not 100% there. Yeah, so if I mouse over, I need to get in my primitive area, that's what I called it. This is going back to some older code now. So primitive area, I need to import primitive area.css, and I need to create a new file, primitive area.css. Oh. All right, so oh, it doesn't. That's right. I need to turn off CSS selections inside of this. Let's do the little cleanups here. CSS selection off. I can't remember how to do it exactly. I think I just set this on. And I don't know. I don't know if CSS gets compiled in such a, like when you go through Babylon, so that it takes these and does all the right things. I don't really know. but I don't think it matters that much. It looks like can I use this? It's 2017. It's perfectly fine to just use the non-prefix versions anyway. I kind of thought it was. Okay, so no more user select. So that means that the triangle, triangle, triangle. Selected. Yeah, see now when I click, I don't get the cursor over the numbers. I can't select any numerical values on the canvas itself at the moment, which is perfectly fine by me. I actually probably could get rid of these values that are on that canvas too, and at that point, I'm going to commit this code locally. So let's get rid of down here somewhere. Here we go. These text items, these are not important anymore. I do have this debug div thing that is poly mode, and there's editor shape, so there'd be div that so all right, let's make that a little bit wider, I guess. Make it 600 pixels wide. So I got that as my little kind of output area. And right now it just shows like scroll offset and a couple other things that are maybe somewhat interesting. So at the moment, these there's two different editors on this screen, and this second editor is sort of slowly usurping what I did on the first editor. The first editor, I keep wanting to hit Control Z like I can undo shit, like I actually have a real program here. Allowed you to edit the outlines of a shape, but it doesn't allow you. It doesn't give you a triangle mesh. Now it could give you a rudimentary triangle mesh, which I could then transfer over to something to like where you get to then manually edit the triangle mesh. So this could be two different ways, or maybe there's a way to combine the two. I don't know. But right now I have two different. I have like an outline mesh, which the idea is for really simple portions of the artwork. And then I have this triangle mesh, which is for the more comprehensive. So like, let's say this hand, it's kind of small. It's not going to warp much. You're just going to rotate it. Really, you just want to get an outline on it, and you don't care what the triangles look like. But for something like the face, you may want to manually edit the triangles around the baseline because it preserves the detail around the chin and stuff like that. So the idea here is to get as good a flow as I can around these mesh objects. And like I might want to put more triangles, say, around the collarbone on this chest piece here. So yeah, it all sort of makes sense to me. Yeah. So one moment. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. To the one person that is likely myself paying attention to the stream. I think I think I want to work on the moving of vertices. Splitting the vertices might actually technically be easier because I have to do less work. So in order to move the vert, what I'm going to have to do is change the editor mode yet again. And the editor mode will be will be the move vertex mode. Now I could also make this stateful within the mode of the tri-mesh editor, the whatever the editor mode's like add triangle. So now we're in edit triangle mode. Edit triangle, edit triangle. But what I want to do is maybe make it so that there's a moving triangle vert is the mode. And that so when you set that up, it by shifting into modes a lot more aggressively, like everything has a dedicated mode for operation, then you have like very specific reasons to enter it. You have very specific state that's valid when you do enter it, etc. Yeah, I think this is I think that's the right way to do this. And so in that case, I will be handling, let's see, basically when the mouse move event comes in. So I click down on a vert. That'll move me into the move triangle vert mode. So let's do that. Let's add that mode. Art mesh, actions, editor. Where's my types? I don't need primitive area or CSS loaded or the app test. I can leave that open. Reducer, I don't need app. I'll leave app open. Do I need the mesh editor? This has got a bunch of code in it, doesn't it? Oh yeah, I don't need the app doesn't need to be open because I'm not going to modify that anytime soon. Okay, so yeah, this is good enough. So I go to my types. Do I have types even open anymore? I did not. And I need to add a new editor mode. This is edit triangle. This is move triangle vert. And for me, when you move into triangle vert mode, there are certain things that have to be valid. In order to move into that mode, you'll have to have only the highlighted tri-shape vert 1 and not vert 2. You'll have to have a highlighted tri-shape. We could probably just ignore that vert. So highlighted tri-shape and vert 1 have to be valid. Otherwise, you can't move into move triangle vert mode. Then the other is going to be no, you won't need to be into a different mode. I was going to say splitting the triangle, but that's not a mode. That's just an action that happens during the editing triangle mode. So let's do that. Let's go into edit triangle. Then the other thing that we need to do at that point is there needs to be a way to drag something. And I think we can do that in the mouse move by calculating the delta x and y between mouse events. And I'll give an example of that when we get to that point. Okay, let's move into that mode. So that's in a reducer. So in our reducer, in the edit triangle mouse reducer, on the mouse down, on mouse 0. If the button is 1, then we move into here. Why is this not? Oh, because I didn't parenthesize this. So if the user left clicks right now while we're in the editor and there is a highlighted tri-shape. I suspect that this will always trigger, so let's double check that this triggers. I think why I think it triggers even when you are clicking on top of the triangle that you're already part of the editor on. So if I click this one, right, and then I click it again, yeah, see, it has highlighted. It wants to move in and out of that mode. So what I want to say is, hey, if you've got the first mouse button down and the highlighted tri-shape does not equal the selected, what is it? It's in state, or types, I mean type. It is the editor tri-shape. Right, so I don't want this to equal the same shape I'm already on. And editor tri-shape should never be editor tri-shape, highlighted tri-shape. Why is it being silly? We know that editor tri-shape cannot be undefined here, which means that in order to not equal editor tri-shape, yeah, it could be undefined. Whatever. I will say yeah, I will say that. So now if I go and I add a couple triangles, triangle, and then edit one, and then click again, I get the mouse down event that's popping up, but I don't get the selection change. See, now this one selected change, but nothing else happens. So now I'm doing the right things here. Let's drop this console log here. I think in the Art Mesh editor, I can drop the CSS file. There we go. I don't need to worry about this. I don't care about that. I don't know where the console.log is coming from the one that's popping out the word down. It's probably in a reducer. Oh, it's in... What? Oh, that's right, because draggable captures... Interesting. Okay, so my draggable captures mouse events, and I have draggable on the top layer group. Top layer group is getting a mouse down event, but it's also got a button filter. So if you don't define it for the right button, it doesn't allow the event to do anything. It's a no op. All right, so in this case, we're trying to click on the same tri-shape. The other issue is that when I have the tri-shape selected, I want to click on a vert. The vert has to be highlighted. If you don't have it highlighted, okay, so then it won't do anything. So now I need to say if that situation didn't pan out, equals undefined. So if we are currently working on a highlighted vertex, then we need to switch editor modes. And when we switch editor modes in this situation, is there a mouse move here? Yeah, the mouse move does this. It changes the highlighted vert. What I probably really want to do is I want to say dispatch. No, no, this is, I need to return back the state here. So this is not an event handler. This is me just checking the, yeah. So I'm going to return back which vertex I'm moving right now. So let's go back here. And this is going to be number. This is going to be moving trivert. I probably should put this in a like a sub thing at some point, but I don't. What was this used for? I don't think I used this anywhere. Go to references. The art mesh, yeah, it's set to a default value and then never touched again. So I don't think either one of these is actually used. Good enough for me. Oh. It was mad. So this needs to be undefinable because it's not always going to be valid. Yeah. Okay, so go back to the reducer, and in this reducer, if the state highlighted, so if I am on a vertex, also sometimes when I'm in like long code bases or code bases I expect to live for a life, I wouldn't actually write this like this. I would actually make a set of functions that are like truthy functions that would just say, hey, if editing, vertex, or if clicked on vertex, and it would just do all the thing. It would analyze the state and return a response to you. So you could put that in a test-driven thing and have a little more nicer looking state instead of the other way, So in this case, what I want to do is transfer over. So I want to set editor mode equal to move triangle vert. So we get to move triangle vert, and then I want to then say, oh, I want to do it this way around. Moving trivert is going to be equal to the state.highlighted try shape vert1, like that. And there is an issue here with the possibility of wanting to, like, maybe the user wants to hit escape and they want this vertex to be, slapped back to where it belongs. So we probably want the original vertex stored here. Moving trivert original colon. That's going to be state dot editor try shape state dot try shapes dot vertexes vert1, that's a comma, and I need to keep that, and that'll go in here, and this will be a vector2 question mark. Well, I don't know why that crashed, but we'll deal with that later. So, yeah, this is vertex's state.highlighted try-shape vert1. Yep, so now with the ability, now having the vert saved in the original slot there, if I want to cancel this as if like let's say that my mouse moves out of the screen, I can just cancel the edit mode and I can put the value back to its original. So I want to do that as well. I want to bind the mouse out, mouse enter, mouse out thing. So in ArtMesh editor, in my mouse event handlers, which are all defined out here, on mouse up, on mouse leave. Oh, I need to const all of these really. Like thusly. And we'll dispatch actions.mouse leave. And so I'll need to create that on my actions. Mouse down, mouse move, mouse up, and mouse leave. We don't care about the payload in that case, and we also have mouse leave here defined, and so that fixes that. So now the mouse leave event is a thing. Then in my reducer, I need to add that to the mouse funcs that get filtered. Like that. And so in theory, I should be able to get into editor mode now. Hey, it dropped into... Why would state.offset ever be anything but correct? It's probably because I did something utterly abysmal. I didn't like return back the full state. I mean, this returns back the merged state. I could do debugger here. And refresh, triangle, triangle, select a triangle, and then when this is fuchsia or violet, I click it. And then I go ahead and play. Let's just see what happens. Oh. No, I have no idea what happened there. It could be that the mouse down handler for the drag and drop is getting caught up in this mix. Let me think about that. So that could be that the whole grid dragging thing is causing some weird grief. I don't think I made the verts actual draggable verts in this situation. Let's see what happens. We covered this. It looks like it, yeah, move triangle vert is the mode that it's now in. And if it's in that mode, zoom still exists, offset still exists. Okay, so now it stopped drawing. That's more interesting, actually, is it stopped drawing the triangle that was being edited. Ah, because in Art Mesh Editor, I don't draw it if you're not in the right mode. Edit triangle. So triangle, triangle, click a triangle, click a corner, run it again. It blows up, but it blows up because g.transform on Art Mesh Editor, so g transform. So I think that's g.transform translate. I think it's not that. Yeah. It's here. And scale worked, but translate did not. It's saying that offset is busted, but that makes no sense. What is my state value? There's no... Somehow my state became blank. Okay. That's what I'm assuming is the problem. I wonder if it's because I bound the on mouse leave event. Maybe the on mouse leave event is doing something. I mean, it shouldn't be part of this at all. I can't fathom that that would be the problem. Somehow I'm getting back an empty state is the only thing that makes sense. Mouse move. It kind of makes no sense, but I don't think I can actually set a breakpoint. Is it? It's not connected, is it? And it is in mode move triangle vert. So, oh, I know what's happening. We're in mode move triangle vert, and then when we dispatch mouse action renderer or reducer, here, when I don't, since I don't have a editor mode for this particular vertex mode, right? And then it comes back and it says, oh, hey, you know, you didn't really have anything to say about that one thing that you did. So the expectation is that this thing always returns back the full state in a mutable form. So that should be this. So it just has to duplicate the state twice, I guess. That's just how it's going to be for now. And so then if I run it, yeah, so now I'm in move triangle vert mode, and I need to code it up. Okay, that's what broke. I follow now. Okay, we are at 3 hours even. I've been doing 3 to 3.5 hours, and a couple of 5-hour long one last night. I'm about to have a lot of noise in my house in about 30 or 40 minutes, so I should, barring anything goes crazy, I should be able to start moving. I don't really care that that crashed. Okay. All right, so yeah, we're there. So this is, we're in the mouse move mode. I need to get a reducer for mouse move. So that's this right here. I need to say oh, there's no, oh. Editor mode, move, triangle, vert, mouse reducer, this. So in this situation right now, I need to, I'm just going to return state at all times if I'm doing nothing else. So I have a whole bunch of things that can happen here, namely the on mouse leave could trigger. So let's do that one first. Case, or I'm sorry, switch action dot payload, and I'm going to say this is going to be do I not get a, oh right, case, and you don't get a case because, you know, I don't know why it's not helping me out here. Oh yes, right, it's not action, it's action to type, and then it's mouse leave. So let's handle the case when the mouse leaves, because what I want to do there is revert anything that happens to the currently targeted vertex. So that vertex gets aborted. We just return it back to its default. That may not be what is, that might not be the best user. I mean, I don't know what the actual user UX is actually good for in that situation, but or rather, I don't know what the right thing to do is, but I think I just want to do that, and we'll just return back to edit triangle mode. Yeah. So we are always going to have an editor try shape because we are just in a sub mode of the editor. I'm going to make sure that we have an editor try shape or blowout. We don't care about the highlights. We're not going to worry about grabbing those at the moment. We're only focused on one vert. And that is get edit try mesh highlight. We don't need that. And yeah, so on mouse leave, we're just going to return a new state, return state, and then we're going to put the editor mode back into the edit triangle mode. And this should be like statefully correct. There shouldn't be any crazy things wrong with this. But I also will just set the highlighted vert1 to undefined, and then the same thing with a highlighted vert2 will be undefined. Yeah, and so let's try that and just see what happens when I'm in the editor. So here we are. Triangle, triangle, triangle. I'm editing a triangle. I'm gonna go edit that vert. I'm in vert mode, and there's a debugger that I didn't get rid of. Right, triangle, 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 selecting a triangle, clicking a vert. I'm now in move triangle vert mode, but I leave and I get back into edit triangle mode. So here I am selecting a different vert. I select that vert and I mouse leave. I just, cancel the vert. The edit, the highlights all drop out because I'm not near anything anyway. This makes sense to me, at least for the most part, it seems to be right. So this is move triangle vert. The next thing we want to do is we want to mouse up. So mouse, oh yeah. In the reducer, we also want to move the mouse or move the vert. Let's just do that. Let's just move it. So where's, yeah. So in this one, we have a mouse move. Now, there's always the mouse move that's being executed in the main loop. So we always get a mouse position that gets updated, but that gets updated after we capture it here. What we're really interested in this mouse move situation here is the delta X, and the delta X is going to be the payload's mouse position, which is in the future, minus the state's mouse position. So this is the delta, is new, no, so this is going to be state dot mouse pause. So this is in the past. So we want the future. So we want action dot payload dot mouse pause dot subtract. So we subtract the past from the future to get the amount that's changed over that time period. And so we want the actual vertex to be moved that much on our screen. Yeah. And so now we have to drill out that vertex from this from the state, and so that is going to be const try. See, this is going to be try shapes because I need to rewrite that. Try shapes equals state.try shapes. And I need the specific triangle shape. Const try is equal to try shapes, the editor try shape, like this. And a try shape has a bunch of stuff in it. It has vertexes. So here's what I'm looking at. I want that particular vertex to be modified. So I want to say try shapes, this triangle, try shapes. I want to import the original try shapes, and I want to say the vertexes. Oh, this is all the try shapes. No, this is the one try shape that I'm editing. So yeah, I'm gonna grab. Well, that should work. I don't know why. Oh, because it's not a. It's an object, not an array. Right, and so then I want to rewrite all the vertexes. Oh, I can't just grab the vertexes quite easily. So let's go back and get the. All right, hold on. Getting a little lost in the woods here. Lost in the weeds. Let's say that this is try shapes. This is going to be state.try shapes like this. Yeah, so I have the try shape that I'm currently editing, and this try shape needs a new set of vertexes. Vertexes equals try shape.vertexes.filter v comma I, and we're just, oh, this is map, sorry, map. I don't know why I'm doing that. What am I doing? It needs a new set of vertexes, and I'm just going to take the try shape dot vertexes. We'll just rewrite. We'll just clone it, right? New vertexes. So no problem. So now I take the try shape vertexes, the currently editing, the moving vertex, which is going to be. Okay, that's going to be state dot something. I literally cannot remember what I set this to. Moving trivert right here. State.moving trivert, right, is going to now become equal to itself dot add delta. Why is that not happy? Because undefined. Well, we just need to say the same thing up here, or we just blow out of here. We don't, if we don't have a moving trivert, we're not doing the right thing at all. So let's leave. And then in this case, we've rebuilt the try shape. We've created new vertexes. And that means we now need to take the try shapes and so try shapes is equal to state.try shapes and that would be the state editor try shape equals try shape. All right, that should rewrite everything, and then we can just do try shapes like this. Whew. Okay. So let's go into this thing. We'll add a triangle, add a triangle, add a triangle, select a triangle, grab a vertex, and now I'm moving it. Look at that. And then when I leave, it exits, right? It doesn't abort. Let's do the abort. So on mouse leave, we need to abort that change. And so how we do that is kind of the same way we did all this over here. We say, hey, try shapes, let's get a copy of that try shapes. The vertexes need to change, and the current moving vertex needs to be reverted back to the state.origin moving trivert original vertexes. Why do you not like this? Vector 2 or undefined. All right, well, if we don't have an original, then we'll also blow out of here because that should always be defined. And if once we create the original, we can then set all these things back. And at the very last thing we do is we set try shapes, and then editor mode goes back to edit triangle. So now come back into here, get a triangle. We have a vertex, I'm moving it, but if I leave, it just aborts the whole process and goes back to an edit triangle mode. So you can't do something stupid like, it just breaks. That way the editor doesn't do, too goofy of anything. I know that a lot of UIs will allow that, so maybe I will just, I could get rid of that at some point, but this also allows for the escape button to be pressed while you're doing the dragging, and you can set an abort for that. So I like it. Mouse move, and then we need to do a case mouse up, and mouse up is the easy case because we just basically leave. I think that's all we do, is we just leave. We move back to edit triangle mode, I guess. Why is it? Oh, because needs to be a colon. And then there is no that. There is edit triangles. We don't need to set. We do need to set the highlighted tri-shape vert to undefined. We could leave that alone because it doesn't matter. We're just basically done with this. Clicky, and I can move it, and I can move it, and I can move it. I like to move it, move it. Okay. Yeah, if you click a vertex and you don't do anything to it, it moves you into the edit or into the move triangle vert mode, and then you leave it immediately. But now if I click a vert and drag it, it just aborts when it leaves. It's a little jittery. I don't like the way it feels when you do that. It's like instantaneous. Whoosh, like an abysmal experience. Now the other things that people, like some editors will do, is you'll still be attached to that vert and you'll be able to drag it around. All right, so now I want to be able to do one more interesting thing here. I want to be able to click on a line to split it to make 2 new triangles out of any, or 4 new triangles out of 2. So 2 triangles out of 1 or 4 triangles out of 2. So in this situation, it's very obvious that I'm clicking a line segment. The system knows this, and you can see how it highlights the verts differently. So red to gray means I'm highlighting that line segment. I probably need to make it so that it actually makes the line change colors instead of the verts, but that's okay for now. So you get that, and so when I click this, I need to split this line. That was what I'm thinking is the right way to do it. Now I could also make it so that, where you click is where it splits. But I'm not that sophisticated. But let me think through one problem right now before I get into the dirty details here. I have a edge loop right now that is clockwise. So it goes, so if I click 0, right? It goes 0, 1, and 2, and back to 0. If I click here, it needs to go 0 to me, then to 2, and then to 0. And then it goes from, when I get done clicking this, I go from what I clicked to 1 to 2. And so I need to be able to inject that data structure into this triangle. With all this stuff being handled in the reducer, I can quite easily make this work in Pixie.js too. Let's see. Yes, I just E1M1'd, but no one's here to notice it, so that's fine. That no one cares. Maybe someday someone will go through the archives. Okay. Let me extol the virtues of this wonderful time-saving device. Hey, Ren, let me extol the virtues of this wondrous time-saving device. Oh. What are you doing, Stampy? That's a little too deep. Ren was not he was just so wired and okay. So yeah, if I click it here, it becomes 0, new point to 0. If I click it here, it becomes 0, 1, new point 0. And if I click it here, it becomes 0, 1, new point 0. Ooh, these are going to be very fun, because I need to be able to make a generic triangle splitter function, I guess. Yeah, so that's what I need to do. I need to generate. Okay, I need a new util function. So we need to do new util test. We may be getting to a stopping point, mostly because I'm about to get some food handed home, and no one's here right now. I might just have to call it good. This is going to be hard to go through, but I will build the tests for this, and I think I'm going to try to stream over the weekend too. I might even just try to do an all dayer on Saturday or something, and then just maybe skip Sunday. So it's been interesting. I made a lot of good progress tonight. So yeah, I'm happy with where things are at. So I'll see everybody some other time.